Hi guys, this is Jessica and you're watching Yoga for Beginners, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about breathing. We're going to talk about why it's important to your practice, what breath you'll use in your practice, and how it's going to transform your practice. All right, guys, let's get into it. But before we do, if you want to keep getting free information on how to do yoga and how to start a yoga practice and ways to break down every single yoga pose so you know what you're doing, and free classes every Monday night, make sure that you subscribe. The more subscribers I get to my channel, the more classes I can put on my schedule and the more information I can give you. So you helping me helps you. And make sure if you like this video, if you get any value out of it, if you learn anything, hit that thumbs up button and post in the comments. Let me know if you tried this breath and what you think of it, how you liked it, and what questions you have. Also, make sure that you hit that little bell notification button so that you can get notified every single time I post new content and when I go live. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so what separates yoga from other styles of fitness? It's the breath. Breathing is what creates a yoga practice. What a lot of people don't know about yoga is it is more than just the poses. Yoga is actually based around an 8-limbed path. So there are 8 specific things that make yoga important, and I'm gonna post a link to that video in the description. So if you wanna learn more about that, go ahead and look at that. It's really interesting, and it really is what yoga is all about. So breath is actually called, in Sanskrit, the language that we use in yoga is called pranayama. Prana is life force energy. So that's the energy that's all around us, and yama means control. So by creating pranayama, you are creating control of the life force energy all around you. So you're bringing all of that positive energy into your body. Okay, now I want you to do something. I want you in your head to divide 873,000 by 422. Why did I ask you to do that? What's the first thing you did? Held your breath, didn't you? Yes. When you're concentrating, when you're thinking, when you're in your head, you're holding your breath. And yoga as a practice is about being in your body and feeling rather than thinking. It is said by the ancient yoga sages that you control your breath, you control your mind. And that is the real power of yoga. It's been studied that deep breathing reduces stress. There is a direct correlation between deep breathing and reduced stress. And we all know by now that stress is bad for our bodies. Being stressed all the time creates that fight or flight reflex in our bodies that we used to use as Neanderthals back in caveman era, when we would have to fight for survival. We would have to be listening for sounds of animals that would attack us and things like that. But now we don't need that fight or flight action in our bodies and our minds, so it just causes stress. So we know that being in that fight or flight reflex, that stressful state, can increase inflammation, which is really bad for not just a regular human body, but it's also really, really dangerous if you've got autoimmune disorders. If you've got things like lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis, fibromyalgia, regular arthritis, it can really aggravate those types of conditions and make them even worse. So you really want to create a good deep breathing practice. And it's also bad for people that don't have any autoimmune disorders because it's bad for your skin. Stress makes you break out, which is bad. It's bad for sleeping, and when you're sleep deprived, that just does a whole bunch of bad things for your body. It causes these deep, dark circles underneath of your eyes. It makes you look puffy and tired and just makes you feel depressed and low and just not good. So we just talked about all of the bad things that happen when we are not breathing deeply and all the stress-related things that go on in our bodies and our minds because of stress. So let's talk about some of the good things that deep breathing does for us. We know that it reduces stress. Obviously, that's what we just talked about. It also strengthens your intercostal muscles. So your intercostal muscles are the muscles that are in between each rib. They are responsible for protecting your organs that are inside of your rib cage, your lungs, your heart, things like that. So we really want those to be nice and strong. It also strengthens your diaphragm to protect those muscles, and it strengthens your abdominal muscles. There are some breathing exercises that we do in yoga that really, you can really feel the burn in your abs when you do them. When you have reduced stress, you sleep better. It's good for our skins. It helps to reduce weight loss. We all know that stress can increase cortisol levels, and cortisol is a chemical that your body produces that creates a lot of belly fat. So we know that we want to get rid of that. And it's good for your mood, and that makes you happy. And if you want to be happy, we want to have less stress. So how is breath going to help you in your yoga practice? We use breath as a gauge to tell us when we are too far into a pose or if we're not far enough into a pose. If our breath is staggered or it's labored, it's really hard, that means that we need to back up out of the pose because we could be causing injury to ourselves. So we really want to pay attention to our breathing in every single yoga pose. Breathing helps to create focus. And when you're doing balance poses, let me tell you, that focus can make or break the pose. If you are standing in a balance pose and you're having a really hard time, chances are you're in your head, you're not feeling your body, and you're not breathing properly. And so that reduces the amount of time that you can spend in that pose. Breathing just helps you to be able to spend a longer time in each pose. So if I am in boat pose, which is a really difficult pose, if you're here and you're just thinking about how hard the pose is, then you're going to want to get out of the pose right away. But if you're breathing, then you can stay in that pose a lot longer. And if we're in the pose a lot longer, obviously if we're in that strength building pose, then we get more benefits from it. If you're in a pose that builds flexibility and you're in it longer, you'll get more benefits from that. And another thing that breathing does is it helps to launch you into difficult poses. So I'll give you an example. This pose is called Ashtavakrasana. Now, without breath, I can't get into this pose. Well, I can, but it's really hard. So I'm gonna inhale as I rock back and then exhale to bring me forward into the pose. And if I'm here and I'm not breathing, it's really hard to maintain this pose. So I wanna make sure that I am really breathing deeply. So that is why the breath is important, how the breath is going to help you. And so now let's talk about the breath that we're going to use in our yoga practice. The basic breathing technique that we use is something called Ujjayi Pranayama. Ujjayi Pranayama means victorious breath. This is the breath that you are going to do in basically every single yoga practice. And it's very easy, but you have to get out of your head and into your body to do it. So let's get into it. Okay, so how do we do this victorious breath? We are going to be breathing in and out of our nose, and we use a slight constriction of the throat muscles. So as you breathe in, it sounds like you're wheezing, and as you breathe out, it sounds like you're sighing. And I know it sounds weird, and when you do this breath practice, you can hear yourself breathing. This is something that if you're going to an advanced yoga class, you'll hear everybody breathing like that because they've learned how to control this breath, and then it helps to advance their practice. But it's not something you want to do, you know, if you're at the grocery store or in line at Starbucks or something, because it does sound a little bit different and you don't want to. I mean, if you want to, go right ahead, but I'm personally not going to when I'm at Starbucks. So anyway, so we're just going to just find a nice comfortable position to sit, whether you need to sit on a block or a pillow or whatever that is, or if you even just want to sit in a chair. I just want you to have a nice, tall, straight spine as we do this. So let's go ahead and close our eyes. Take a breath in through the nose with the lips sealed. And breathe out through the nose. Keep breathing in and out through your nose, nice, long, deep breaths. And let's try to breathe for a count of 4 in. And then breathe out for 4. Nice. Now let's take our hands to our belly. And as you breathe in, just start to feel your belly expand with the inhale and feel it contract with the exhale. Imagine a balloon that's inflating and deflating. Good. Lips are still sealed. Now I want you to slightly constrict your throat muscles. You hear that sound? Sounds like a wheeze as you breathe in. And it sounds like you're sighing as you breathe out. Good, and open your eyes. Resume normal breath. Now, when you're doing this breath, you're probably focusing on the breath coming in and out of the nose. So now we're going to do it one more time, but I want you this time to still breathe in and out of the nose, but bring the attention to your throat. And I want you to visualize the breath going in and out of your throat. So let's do this one more time. Bring your hands to your belly, close your eyes, and breathe in through the nose. Breathe out through the nose. Now slightly constrict your throat and focus on your neck. We're going to do this 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. Open your eyes, and there you go. That's your Ujjayi Pranayama. So let me know what you thought of this breath, and let me know the next time you practice if you've done this breath and what it did for you. Please feel free to post in the comments and let me know what you thought. If you like this video, remember, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe so you can still keep getting your free yoga content. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Namaste.